Happy Thursday, everybody. With all that's going on in just 3 trading days this week, I wanted to do a quick update as we head into the last 2 days of the market week. Markets began the week under continued pressure, but everything changed yesterday. So let's break it down day by day. Then we'll talk about what it might mean for going forward. The week kicked off with another turbulent session on Monday. After an overnight sell-off in futures, stocks did open sharply lower as investors continue to digest the widening impact of the White House's tariff policy. There were some mid-morning hopes when a report hinted that at a potential 90-day tariff pause. That was quickly walked back, labeled fake news by the administration. Remember that. And markets gave up their gains. Investors were grappling with threats of additional tariffs on China, another 50% floated by President Trump on Truth Social, and legal uncertainty around the administration's use of emergency trade powers at all. The lack of economic data kept all eyes on trade headlines. Sentiment remained fragile, and markets closed modestly lower after a wild 7% intraday swing in the S&P 500, the largest since 2022. The Dow closed down almost 1%, S&P down 0.25%, and the Nasdaq down a bit over 0.75%. Tuesday began with some cautious buying from overseas, driven by reports of upcoming trade talks with Japan and renewed stimulus promises from China. But those early gains were short-lived. By midday, U.S. Trade Representative Greer confirmed reciprocal tariffs on China would take effect immediately, and stocks resumed their downward path. The S&P fell back below 5,000, and markets closed at their lowest level since early 2024. Fed commentary wasn't much help either. Several officials warned that the inflationary nature of tariffs might limit the Fed's ability to cut rates. Markets still expecting that. Stagflation narrative, slower growth coupled with rising prices started to gain some traction in the market commentary. Remember Powell's comment? I wonder if he's seeing the stag or the inflation now. So we'll see. Dow closed down almost 1%, S&P down 1.5%, the Nasdaq down 2%. Just when markets seemed to be stuck in a downtrend, President Trump posted a surprise midday update on Truth Social on Wednesday, a 90-day global tariff pause, excluding China. Remember, we had that earlier in the week, right? Plus a reduction to a 10% baseline tariff while negotiations resumed. That was all markets needed. Tech stocks exploded higher. Apple, Nvidia gained 15% plus. Tesla jumped 22%. It was the third largest single day gain in S&P 500 history and the highest trading volume ever recorded, with more than 30 billion shares trading hands. While tariffs on China were actually raised to 125%, the pause for other nations and the sheer relief that trade tensions might not spiral out of control sparked what appeared to be a massive short cover rally. Dow was up to 2,962 points, or almost 8%. The S&P was up 9.5%, the biggest gain since 2008, and the Nasdaq was up almost 12.25%, second best day ever. These sound like yearly numbers, but it was all just yesterday. So where do we go from here? The big question is, what was this a one-day wonder, or was it the start of a new chapter? Markets are still going to try to figure out if the 90-day pause is a true shift in policy or if it's just a temporary move to stabilize markets. The fact that tariffs on China remain in triple-digit territory does suggest we're far from resolution. We'll be watching this closely. If trade talks make progress and inflation metrics remain contained, this could help markets build on Wednesday's rally. If not, volatility is likely to return. In summary, after starting the week with continued losses driven by uncertainty and recession fears, the markets stage a massive comeback midweek yesterday on signs of a potential tariff détente. That doesn't mean that the risks are gone, but for now, investors have a reason to exhale. Let me know if you want to talk about this and talk about what this means for your portfolio or any other upcoming opportunities to rebalance during this volatility. Please watch for the market update next week. It'll be on Tuesday, since Sunday and Monday are the beginning of the Passover holiday. It's odd that we're talking about the holiday that represents the liberation of the Jewish people from Egypt, Egyptian slavery, and all we're talking about in the markets are the Liberation Day that President Trump announced last week. These times may call for more updates, and if so, you'll hear from me then. Have a great day.